Alright, and I'm live. Just 2 seconds, we'll be getting started. $5 o'clock right now, just FNCS. What else? Reload cup. Alright. Okay, what's up guys? Today I'm gonna be watching FNCS and stuff, and I do have an announcement that I am going to be saying at 5:30 in 30 minutes here. Have a huge announcement. Go ahead and take a look at the leaderboard. Seems like Cold and Rapid are in first with about 400 points. Just copy the match ID. Head into Fortnite. Alright. And sorry about that, you guys. I was at a Rangers baseball game. Alright. I'm actually going to move this up to about here. Clicks left, 42 points. This is still alive on Open Rapid. Trying to 1v2 them. He runs backward. Click's going for 1v2, but it seems they've already left. Is he gonna chase them? Oh, and Clicks is chasing them. Wow. Golden Rapid nearby, just around the corner. Seems they've already taken the next one down. Clicks is going with him. He's looking for that kill. He wants it. Jumps right out on the cold. He takes his run back. Cold gets another kill, giving them some more points. Clicks immediately starts popping his med kit, realizing it's a 5-tick. He's gonna have to leave Storm soon. Switch over to I Am Enough. I Am Enough and Salt, and 48 points. 111 below the damage threshold. Not different. Keeps getting ticked by Storm Surge. Let's get some damage in here. Bucky and Zen making it to endgame. 52 points. Bucky takes some fall damage. He's going for a rotate. Just trying to go straight down the middle. He gets beamed for like 70. He gets hit again. 99 HP. That's what you're just saying. He's looking mighty healthy. He's got some good builds. Getting some nice beams on the ritual out of the sky. Lucky and Zang going for the rotate. Lucky just going down the middle. They land right on another team. Ritual Nature's just on the other side. Clicks also moved down. Look over Muzz and Sphinx. 0 kills on the board, playing entirely off the placement. Gold AR on a blue shotgun. Pulling some shockwaves. Sphinx looking mighty healthy as well. 41 builds. They both have 41 builds each. Terrific Cold can happen. 68 points, 2 kills. Who gave Cold the mythic shotgun? Wow. I mean, I guess we can play. Come on. Truck Ranger. Visuals on HP. Sad lights. But yeah, we can play no. Vino and Curve, 113 points, 3 kills. You know how Vino does in these types of situations. You know how in these end games, this is what he's good at, this is what he does. And he slips by himself, he's doing 12 points on the board, just 3 kills between the two of them. This is the mama. The mama. Yo, mama. Drops down just like they can't finish. They're going for it. As Taki's nearby. Build your left as a solo. 34 builds. Agers gets beamed, Ritual gets hit as well. Ritual's and Agers 1 HP. Ozzy takes down Muzz. Curve takes down Ritual. goes down. Peterbot gets hit. 49 HP. Polio gets killed at 5 HP. Polio goes down. Peterbot and Polio, second place combined, 102 points. Peterbot down to 6 HP. Azer's just on the other side trying to get that wall. Peterbot drops down. No more shockwaves, no more kills for Peterbot. He gets some mats, he has 3 builds. Barely living off some scraps. He gets a nice shot on the Agers and then goes down. Tyler. Dino on height. Dino shocks and goes down. Looking for some barely misses a shot. Dino gets it by Seek. Dino's back up. It's Seek, it's Tyler, and it's Vino and Curve. Could Vino steal away this win? Vino left with 5 builds. He goes to the jump and down to Tyler. He's trying to spray down. He gets some shots in. Seek taking a little bit of storm damage. Vino drops down. Seek's dead. Tyler versus Vino and Curve. Vino 1 build. Tyler's 1 HP. Tyler takes down Curve! Tyler versus Vino. Oh my god. Vino's 1 HP. Tyler's also 1 HP. Who won? Did Vino win? I don't know. I think Tyler won? Yeah, Tyler 1v2'd. Nice. Nice. Tyler with the 1v2. Head back over that leaderboard and refresh. Flix and Higgs down to 9th. Sphinx and Muzzjake 8th. Peterbot goes up into 5th. Really anyone's game. Just about 26 points behind is Vino and Curve. Here's Tyler and Chance in 10th on the leaderboard. I was able to push him up. As we go down to N-Pen and Jack in last place. 39th, 50th, 30th, 46th, 46th, 50th. Wow. Not the greatest for them. Electro and Ulk not doing too well either. Alright, you know what? I think it's about time that I do go ahead and say what I was going to say before, which is my special team announcement. So we see here Electro FV. He is in Team Void, and I don't know if you saw before, but there's Void in my name. I have officially rejoined Void. Yeah, I'm just officially part of their roster alongside Electro. Yeah. I'm glad to be in this clan, and that pretty much wraps everything up. Joined Team Void. But, yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up Twitch and do Fortnite stream, and I need to go AFK really quickly.
heal a lot. I'm popping a medbit. Wait, short. I've got 6 builds. No, max up.
Wait, if you're mid, wait.
100. 100. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
And I don't know how to feel about it.
You're not used to losing. Getting beaten?
Not like this. These players are just so locked in.
Could it be the milk? Stay there.
Carbon Venom. Carbon Venom. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, wait till you guys see the standings. First off, in case you missed it, welcome back to the FNCS. It is a great day to be watching Fortnite. We just watched an incredible game, but Carbon Venom almost got another Victory Royale. Second place, 9 elims. I told you we'd have to look at these standings, right? Because I'm telling you, game to game, it feels like I have no sense of stability, Kelly. It feels like every time I have a semblance of like, this must be the way this is going, right? Wrong!
Is that
because
new
the
for
standings
you?
aside, you know what? What?
Oh, I'm sorry. I feel like instability is part of your lifestyle, Zeke. I don't think that's anything new whatsoever. But for the FNCS broadcast, seeing our leaderboard shake up this much, Vivid, might be a little bit new. I definitely thought the leaderboard was going to be ready. Right, there we go. Okay, Vivid, take it away.
Curve and Venno started the day in 10th place. I talked about it. They were 113 points behind first place. After just 2 games, they're now 27 points behind first place. And that elim column, it just keeps getting crazier. Zeke, you talked about it. It was at 40. Now it's at 49.
I am just shocked. You know, like something that Kelly said at the start of like yesterday, right? When we kind of like were hinting at this extra point, right? Again, it's like 1 point really doesn't sound like a lot, but when you put it in the hands of like a Curve and Venom who want to get aggressive, they want to get in these boxes, they want to take these fights. I mean, look at how it's paying off. We have just after 2 games, we started the day, Kelly, in 10th. We are now 2nd.
And it's not even like they're just kind of running on the low ground getting these eliminations. No, they're also making sure that they're stealing height, checking high ground, making sure that they're taking away other opportunities from other teams. So it's not, again, what are they doing right, but what are they taking away from everyone else? And Curve and Vinu are doing a great job with those sneaky height steals that we love to see Acorn do, and to see them use that strategy to be able to even just punish height. Obviously, coming into this final moment, the 1v2 against Chance or against Tyler, probably not the position that Venno wanted to be in right now, but regardless of that, they are pushing themselves up the leaderboard right now. And, you know, I'm looking at EU. The most eliminations we saw out of a team coming from Europe was Sky and Scroll with 57 eliminations. Oof. And looking to see 49 for Curve and Venno. And considering the game or the day that they had yesterday to the day that they're having today, I wonder if they're going to end up with more elims than them.
I gotta say, Zeke, what a weird lobby that was too, with like the high ground. Like at one point there was like nobody up there, and all of a sudden, you know, Peterbot and Player kind of going for it. And then when Curve and Venno went for it, there was nobody up there as well. Like Peterbot and Player had to fall down and did that huge overdrive grenade again, right where they're all the way up in the sky. And I was looking up and I was like, oh my gosh, look, is that a bird? It's a plane. No, it's the plane that brought Venno over from EU to NA all the way up there, man. That's how high they're getting for some of these height retakes. I mean, it's incredible. Game 7, game 8, it went the exact same way. They took height at the exact same time. And like I mentioned, man, game 7, they look like a different duo. Game 8, they repeated it 4 more games. These guys look like they're gonna win this thing.
Oh man, guys, we can't forget, right? Cold and Rapid, look at them up there right now. Of course, not a ton of points ahead, but What strikes me as crazy is Cold and Rapid, this last game, they hit a 10th place with 4 elims. They have only had one game outside of the top 10. Only one game, and that was that 26-1 that we called a quote-unquote mistake, right? The blunder that kind of cost them all of these additional points. But even in these situations where they're finding themselves in shambles situations, we're still pulling off 10th places, a top 10 with 4 elims. That's scary stuff, Kelly.
Yeah, and that is exactly what Cold and Rapid are doing so well, is that even though they're not, like, even if they don't get their pop-off game, they're still making sure that they at least make it to the very final moment to get those placement points. And then when they do have everything right, that's when they pull off the pop-off game. So I'd love to see another game like that coming out of them.
Cold and Rapid, they keep trying to build some sort of a lead, but teams, they just keep keeping themselves close. They're like, what the heck? Where did Curve and Veno come from? I thought we were fine. Red Acorn and Bolts are doing a little bit worse today. Oh man, these guys got to be sweating, but they're cool, calm, collected. 4 games left to go. Hopefully they can hold on.
Oh man, game number 9. Only 4 left before we conclude the grand finals. Casters, we're going to send it your way to prepare us for game number 9.
I'm glad you guys had a little moment to breathe and relax there. One thing's for certain, Jacob, 2 games can change so much of the dynamic right now. Curve and Veno proving that every team that is due for a pop-off will have it, but to go back-to-back like that, so impressive.
Nah, it's definitely going to be tough, but one thing that I've learned from Fortnite, I've heard from Fortnite over the years, high ground, they might win games, but low ground tends to win championships, and I'm not sure. We've seen Cold and Rapid on high ground once throughout this week, and I'm not sure how much that will change, but the next game is ready, so let's jump right into the action.
The Major 1 Finals Game 9 begins here and now. If you're just tuning in, you've missed quite the weekend. The ups, the downs, the emotional roller coaster we have been going through is all coming to an end here soon. Just 4 games ahead of us now, Jacob, as we're getting into the deep end, the deep water of this Fortnite competition. And Curve and Veno just proven to us that, hey, yesterday, they clearly had everything on lock. Things just didn't quite line up for them in the end game. But today, it is starting to click. And for Tyler and Chance, right? This is a team that's had a lot to deal with as well. But Tyler popping off right now, really getting his money's worth. And don't forget, they haven't been perfect either, but they found themselves inside the top 10 off of that monstrous performance.
Big moments here, kind of closing out the day. 4 games left. Might seem like a lot, but it definitely isn't. Threats and Fear probably are feeling it. In that last game, also, they were inside of that top 13 bubble. They went down relatively early and fell all the way down to 15th place because of these off-spawn contested fights. So with Blanks and Mako, you can see they're trying to make a last-ditch effort towards the top of the leaderboard. But for Threats and Veer, they're right there. So we talk about mind games. What does that do to a team like Threats and Veer? Do you play aggressive? Do you try to go ahead and disengage, split the drop? I think there's a lot of decisions to be made for Threats and Veer, and there's not a lot of time to make those decisions.
Yeah, last game they only survived for 5 minutes. 5 minutes means they fell in 41st place. They were on track to remain in qualification range, of course, for that land spot, the prestigious land spots that are available. And now they slipped down to 15. So that 20-point gap that you talked about, I mean, that was given and then some. Now it's an uphill battle for them to find their way back into the race. Polio, Peterbot on the other side. You know, we're trying to figure out what's going on with this team here. They've had, overall, if you just look at the overall performances, pretty good. However, the best of the best, right? Those that are up at the very top are just outpacing them by a significant margin as far as overall consistency. So will Peterbot and Pollo get their moment to finally win a game is the question.
Yeah, especially, you know, you kind of look at some of these teams at the top of the leaderboard and their overall match history, and you kind of look at it from anybody else, you're like, man, that's a good match history. But for the teams like Peterbot and Pollo, for the teams like this Clicks and Higgs, when you start off the first 3 games for Clicks and Higgs with victory royales, it kind of sets the tone and the pace for the rest of the tournament, but then things don't necessarily go your way. With one of the best POIs, they got 4 games left. I think anything is possible,
All right, Chad, I'm back.
especially since the last couple games to start the day. They have their head on straight. They're still staying to their plan, going for high ground when they can. It's just unfortunate. I think more and more teams are ready to make the risk with everything on the line today.
for me, I still can't be the only one who's wondering why in the world did they end up at the Dark Dominion against Golden Rapid, who are clearly playing as cut above the rest of the competition right now. So we'll keep eyes on this. This is obviously one of the stronger draw spot teams tend to rotate into for Metal. Let's give this little highlight here, some action. Noisy and Neo. Nice little third play there. Meanwhile, Tyler and Chance survived the Boulevard. Looks like Curve and Venno have not decided to push down top towards his team, and instead they end up disengaging and out to the southern edge of the map.
Yo, what's
This
up,
is
all?
something we saw Tyler and Chance do in that last game. They landed the south side of Battlewood. Time to
Drove to Clifton Higgs. Your POI wonky land. Jet. Quick Sake's chilling at their POI. See, will we have any off-spawn action? Peterbot and Polio getting pretty close. Close to a team. Peterbot split. Polio. Chris and Peterbot moving to Squiggly. Just see easy Riley left with Raven already dead. Still does a solo. I don't even know who was up there. It's Chris. They officially moved into Swiftly. Could have bought Toyo backed off over here. Curvin Vino, 193 points, crouch walking on G Monster. Magma. Magma drops. Tries again there. Yo, what's up, Below Zero? Dad, I need you to join my stream. Yeah, I know, but I'm at 2,954 likes. I need you to get me up to 4,000. Well, I need you to get me to 4,000 because I earn 180 gems. Well, TikTok can give me 180 gems if I get 4,000. Let's go over to Cooper and Reed. Getting some nice tags in. Switch over to M Pen and Jack, 8 points. Zero kills. Lulu goes down. 0 points. More than sinks, 120 points. Both looking healthy.
How was your bike ride?
already in first place. They don't have to change up anything here. 313 damage above the threshold, just waiting for the next zone to pull, and more than half of the lobby just got a max pull over towards Humble Hills.
We have it. Things are about to start heating up real quick here now as we're approaching the final moments of game number 9. Endgame is on. Sturm Surge is here. And Clicks and Higgs are 150 below right now. Still plenty of room of damage to be had here, so they have to play aggressive. Into the box they go. Higgs gets a monster shot, Clicks into the box. Wow. And Clicks does what he needs to, but no, it's Agers and Rituals are here to clean it up. And they take out some of that close competition there in Clicks and Higgs. And the runway is starting to open up now. Meanwhile, Curve and Veno, clear as day. Blue skies for the team over here. They have high ground and max material once again. This just doesn't get better for them.
Yeah, I'm not sure if these were all of their bases or not, but essentially shockwaving from base to base to base in the last couple of zones to make sure they maintain their presence up above. You see them with all that extra loot building outward, not necessarily to hold the tarp, but just to get their edge inside of the zone. Peterbot and Pollo feeling the same struggle. For a moment, one below the damage threshold. They quickly prop themselves back up, 89 above. Pollo looking toward the backside of zone, trying to get some easy damage. Peterbot on the hunt for some of his own. Almost bites off more than he could chew in that moment. But either way, Pollo was able to clean up at least one elimination and continue to build up on that Storm Surge. Only 3 players need to go down before it deactivates, but as they get eliminations, so do Cold and Rapid. There goes another one for Cold, adding to his total.
It's crazy, man. The amount of eliminations they managed to find in the end game is so impressive. And they're in the lead, mind you, right? So this is really going to give them that room to run away with it. And you start looking at players like Rapid, you start looking at players like Curve. Having an FNCS championship under your belt is one thing, but having it on NA just hits a little different too. So for some, they're looking to unify the belts. For others, they're trying to put the stamp on their name. And for folks like Curve, talk about really showcasing you're one of the greats now of the new era. But first, you got to do it. Rapid and Cold continue to play the strat. Going for low ground front side here. Now, this time they do have low material count, so they will need a big refresh.
Which honestly doesn't worry me just one bit. Curve finds one though. They're on 8 eliminations already, continuing the pressure on the lobby. Absolute destruction here on NA, and really have to take note. If Veno finds himself in first place when the tournament is over, he will be a new 2-region champion. EU and NA Central, arguably 2 of the hardest regions to win a championship on, but they still got a quarter of the tournament left to play. Tyler, forced by himself, loses chance. Backside of the zone, he's getting pressured by Jack, NPen, and a few other teams. Everybody forced to rotate in, finds a Fizz, trying to take advantage of that, but he runs into Peterbot and Pollo on the other side of the wall. Luckily for him, it looks like Peterbot and Pollo have their hands full, so they don't even look back, but as we tune back into Cold, he's by himself. No extra heals, no build. This is what the entire lobby needs to have a chance.
And they're only in top 20 right now, like barely holding on here. For Cold to fall, the runway really starts to become available now for everyone else. But look at this, Veno lost in the process. Curve forced to play high ground by himself. Meanwhile, Acorn and Bolts find a 2-set elimination now low. And then we jump right into Pollo, who also has a refresh of their own. And everyone is clawing back into this competition now.
Yeah, with first place gone, we got Curve by himself, we got Aegis Ritual, Acorn and Bolt, even Peterbot and Pollo, that all could be our first place team after this game, and they're ready to make it so. Big Elim up towards the top, Peterbot and Pollo, they send it up towards height, give themselves a huge advantage, and another 4 points for those eliminations, even more with the placement as it comes in, but down below, the counterpart, Aegis and Ritual still running wild. 5 eliminations of their own, they have pizza, they have splashes, they have materials on top, so they don't even necessarily need an elimination.
If you line it up, they will knock it down. Bolts and Acorn here, 4 eliminations now on the low ground. Peterbot and Pollo, we already know, have solidified their high ground position. Bolts just continuing to do what he does best. That's a monstrous refresh, and he picks up everything here. Gets the Chug Jug as well. He's just living off the siphon, but no, Acorn gets caught there by Javi and Aminish. Tyler still holding on here as well. Somehow finds his way into top 5. When we last checked in, it was 20th place. And Tyler is just clutching up, showing us how badly he wants it. Bolts here on the low ground though. Javi and Aminish here, full duo. versus, of course, Peterbot Pollo pressure from the top. It's not looking too good here.
Yeah, both just getting pressure from all angles. Both of the duos sandwich him, eat him alive, but there comes the drop down coming in. Peterbot realizing it's going over recycled builds. They can maintain their presence, but a blessing for them is the same blessing from down below. Javi and Aminish are able to utilize that same scenario, and rightfully so. Look at their material count monster. They were almost out of mats altogether.
Yeah, Peterbot knows what to do here. He's just got to keep that relentless pressure coming down. Hopefully he can pull for the win. But Javi comes up, finds a little cheeky angle from the side there, but he's got no mats. Peterbot also punished too. Aminish's got nothing, but Pollo's coming down to finish the job. Peterbot's already got the full conclusion there, and now, Jacob, it's just looking like a 2v1.
Yeah, basically, Javi's living on borrowed time here. He might know it as well. No extra material. Zone pulling on over. Yes, he can farm up a little bit, but double Thunder Burst up above the mythic AR. They're going to melt through those builds, and that's why you see layer by layer, Peterbot and Pollo dropping down. They just don't want to take any big risk here because they know this one is definitely in the bag. 9 eliminations so far, and if they're able to clean this one up, get that elimination onto Javi, this could be a double-digit elimination victory royale. They catch fire at the right time. Peterbot and Pollo on top.
You know, they were due for a win. That's what we kept saying. We're looking at their performances. We're seeing them make these end games. But the biggest question that was remaining was, when are they going to get that victory royale? And you know what? They couldn't have done it in a better time and at a better game, right? When you have Cold and Rapid there, Jacob falling early too. That right there is going to conclude game number 9 now. Peterbot and Pollo Zeke have finally done it.
It's happening! It's happening! Peterbot Pollo! Okay, everything. Nope, Kelly, it's happening. We knew it was gonna happen. We didn't know when, we didn't know why or how, but it's happening right now. 3 games left to go. Game number 9. They finally decide, you know what, Zeke? You know what? We've been quiet. We've been under the radar. We've been consistent, but on the DL. You know what, Zeke? We're gonna make a statement. We're gonna perfectly overdrive all the way up in the height. We're gonna shut that down, take that over, and you know what, Zeke? We're gonna go ahead and get ourselves a victory royale. Kelly, they're doing it. It's happening. It's happening.
You know, they say that there's 2 inevitabilities in life, death and in the final games. It is just inevitable. Peterbot and Pollo, we've seen them do it time and time again. The narrative has popped up time and time again. They're washed. It's over. Peterbot's done. And then they wrap up day 1, always still in the top 10, by the way. But day 2 is where they come to show how they do it time and time again. Peterbot doing this crazy height steal to go onto Curve, who was a solo. Poor guy had no chance when you have Peterbot and Pollo flying up in the sky.
I mean, you know, there's kind of the conversation amongst us saying, yeah, you know, they've been pretty quiet this grand, and they really haven't. I mean, their best placement was a 5th place. We're used to seeing these guys just win games, take high ground convincingly, and just has not happened. But that being said, they kept themselves in contention, right? Even though they weren't having these pop-up games, even though they weren't having those performances that we're used to seeing out of them, they were still in like 6th place going into that game, right? Just close enough to 1st place where it's like, okay, technically it's possible for them to kind of catch back up. You know, they're just always flying around, always buzzing around. And then it happens. They win the game. It's like we literally brought it to fruition by speaking it into existence. These guys are back. They win the game, and I saw how many points they have. I can't wait to see the leaderboard after we come back.
Oh, Vivid, you stole what I was going to say. 485 points. We knew going into that Cold and Rapid had 446. But where did they end? Have they overtaken that #1 spot? Let's find out after this short break. Don't you go anywhere. We'll see you right after this.
Watch me arrive. got him. That went well. I'm popping a med bit. Wait, short. Got 6 build? No, max up.
Wait, if you're mid, wait.
100! 100! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
And I don't know how to feel about it.
You're not used to losing. Getting beaten?
Not like this. These players are just so locked in.
Could it be the milk? Stay there.
Welcome back, Party Fam. After game number 9, Peterbot Pollo decide, you know what, Zeke? It's time to get active. We're going to get ourselves a little victory out with 10 points. They end that game with 485 points. Kelly, of course it happens like this. I know I let you write the script for this major. And man, oh man, of course, with 3 games left to go, we get a VR out of Peterbot and Pollo. Now of all times, Kelly, now!
This is when they always do it. They always like to build a little bit of a story because we always go into every major thinking that Peterbot and Pollo are going to run away with it. And that's just boring writing, Zeke. So instead, they make everyone sweat a little bit. They have a little bit of a struggle through day 1. And then it's day 2, in the second half of day 2, where they really start to show everyone why they are the demons of North American Central. Peterbot and Pollo now with just a 6-point lead over Curve and Venno. But more importantly, Vivid, I'm looking at Cold and Rapid dropping down. But again, that drop is not that far.
All of these teams are close enough. I mean, 30 points separates 1st and 5th place. But, I mean, Peterbot and Pollo, it may have taken 9 games for them to finally go ahead and take that throne up there in the #1 spot on the leaderboard. But from an individualistic standpoint, Peterbot is still playing like we're used to him seeing. Like, I'm looking at the damage dealt over the course of these 9 games. He's currently at 8,300. In 2nd place right now is actually Azers with 7,300. So Peterbot's 1,000 damage dealt ahead, and that's exactly what we are kind of used to seeing. Sure, he's getting beat out right now by the likes of, Azers, Curve, Venno in the elims category, but he's still up there with those guys, top 4 in individual elims. These guys are doing good. All of a sudden, finally they get that win, and now they're at the top.
I just can't believe it. The story is what it's gonna be, and of course, right now is when Peterbot and Pollo decide to pull out a win and take over the #1 spot. But let's start to look at this top 3, right? Curve and Venno. We see them in this last game get a 12th with 8 elims, right? And it's funny because Levin joins our call and he's like, "Oh man, that's crazy. That Venno guy. Where's that Venno guy from?" He's from NA, right? We're just like, okay, buddy. Okay, Levy Poo. Man, these guys are going crazy. 57 eliminations, Kelly. You called out a number not that long ago over on EU what their record was. We're right there. We're right there with 3 late games left to go.
That is right. And we can imagine that if a little misstep happened over here with Venno, if that misstep did not happen, that they would probably even have more eliminations, if not win that game. But unfortunately, Venno did go down to this right here. However, Curve was able to hold the high ground for just a little bit, but once some of the other teams noticed that Curve was a solo on high ground, obviously it was going to be stolen. But regardless, still having that many eliminations is going to keep them up in our leaderboard. Vivid, we're going to ignore that, okay?
Levy Poo is wild, by the way, Zeke. But I mean, yeah, the standings are just going absolutely crazy. It would be a lot different right there if Venno did not get bumped off of the high ground. He's going to be kicking himself for that one. But close on their heels, man. I talked about this 1st through 5th place, only separated right now by 30 points. Cold and Rapid, for the first time, we kind of see them slip out of that top 2 spot. It's been a while since we have not seen them towards the top. Rough little go for them in that game right there, but still, here's the crazy thing. All 5 of these teams going into the last 3 games, any one of them could win it.
Yeah, I mean, even look at Agers and Ritual, right? 467 right behind Cold Rapid, a single point. Even Acorn and Bolts, 455. And Acorn and Bolts get a third place, 5 elims in that game, right? Like, this is absolutely going to come down to the wire. Right now, there is no clear in a way like, hey, you know, this team is ahead by 100 points and they're just flying. It's like every team right now on NA in this top 10 is shining, right? For different reasons and at different times. So I'm almost wondering, like, now that all of these trios or duos, excuse me, the top 5 are firing on all cylinders, where do we go from here, Kelly? Where do we go with 3 games left?
I mean, for Acorn and Bolts, I think that today, for the start of day 2, it was a little bit rough. We saw them only place out of 11th yesterday, and then today starting it off, getting a 12th and then a 32nd place. And we actually saw them for the first time getting storm damage, which they didn't take out all for day 1. So obviously having these tiny changes that we've already seen them make and now seeing them back in the leaderboard vivid, that's what I want to see out of Acorn and Bolts.
Yeah, would love to see them kind of make some sort of resurgence, but no time to talk. I'm excited. I want to get back into the games.
Oh man, Jacob here, our MDF. We got a competition on our hands, boys. Take it away, bring the hype.
We definitely do. And I mean, we have the best jobs in the world. We get to sit here and watch this go down in real time. Y'all see it in about 3-minute delay, Jacob, but my gosh, it is so good right now.
No, it's definitely been exciting for sure. Our last 3 FNCS majors before this were decided by 4 or less eliminations. Yeah, the point is a little bit more spread than that, but the way this one is edging out to be, we got another photo finish on our hands. I'm strapped up, ready to go. I'm literally at the edge of my seat right now.
Yeah, that's right. You know, my attention is really starting to shift towards that top 6. We are looking at a 50-point difference between 6th and 1st place. Hobby and Aminish, one of the most underrated teams now, are somehow finding themselves in the conversation for a championship run, and no one is playing perfect so far. But I hear the battle bus, so let's see it one more time.
3 games left, Monster. Just 3 games remaining in this tournament. And already for the last 3 games that we've seen that leaderboard shuffle up so much, from Cold and Rapid being in first, Curve and Veno having a chance to now Peterbot and Poyo being on top. And even that race at the bottom for the bubble, the top 13, 2 points separates going to Dusseldorf and having to go and try one more time.
Yeah, it's so crazy, man. Teams like Clicks and Higgs now are suddenly finding themselves in a whole different type of scenario, right? Where they have to fight for being in the top 13 at this point. Trying to get the championship win is starting to be pushed out of the question. Curve and Veno, though, switching up their strategy a bit, opting to go a little bit more aggressively to the north side, trying to see maybe if there was something here to be, of course, earned. But look at this, finds a little llama. You happy about that one?
Was Curve contested, or did he get those out of the sky? That's just my biggest question.
I don't know.
Yeah, either way, it's just a testament of, like, whether it's the beginning, middle, or end of these games. I don't know what they ate for breakfast, but I need to order me 2 of those because they are just firing on all cylinders. QK, Contrap, they had such a great moment to end the day yesterday. Most of us didn't even know where he came from. That first place, 8 eliminations, that bursted them inside of the bubble. Today, however, hasn't necessarily been going their way, but they are still so close to contention. They just need to close out strong.
You know, what I'm thinking about is Veno and Curve. Veno's probably telling Curve, like, bro, be on the lookout. Do not be surprised if Peterbot and Poyo land this, you know? Because their drop is technically big enough. And if you know Veno, he's got that main character energy, right? So does Peterbot. Like, Peterbot, the way he treats Clicks in a finals or any other rivalry that's neck to neck, he will definitely land on someone like Veno as well, just because the storyline will be so exciting to watch. And they're all that close right now.
Yeah, 20. Neko just trying to go ahead and get out of a bad spot. Both of them kind of separated. Like, Flex got a good opportunity here. Took too long to go ahead and execute on that chance, so they're going to be forced to disengage as Neko reunites along with 20, trying to push them back further and further. And that's the thing about these split drops, to where if you don't go ahead and get those eliminations on the contested drop, it makes finding that loot that much harder. Mako Blanks going ahead and pressing on to Muss outside of the Riptides. They have a good 2v1 opportunity here, but they're continuously trading shots. Muss not going down without a fight. Another chance there as he lands another big tag, 26 HP. Even the knock on to Blanks, he has a chance to 2v1. In comes Liquid as Duo finally arrives. They clean up that elimination, that the party does not stop here. Threats and Veer, who are once inside of the bubble, fell out, are ready to make up for those mistakes early on. They have the Fizz, they have the Shockwave. They're trying to close the gap and figure out exactly where he went. Heard the noise onto Mako, so they're just going to drop down and try to clean up this Elim.
Yeah, doing a great job chasing him down right now. Veer's got full sights here. Threat's got control of the coast as well. Should be another tag, and unfortunately they don't quite find it, but this is still great damage, and they want these points right there. Again, found themselves in the top 10 and then fell within around that 15 place range after slipping out. So Veer and Threat still have some big games to be out here.
It's getting more and more crowded over here towards the Riptides, though. Got Nick and Skinny Cat moving on over. Threads and Veer kind of gave up positioning, chasing for that Elim. Then you have Muss and Liquid on the other side of Riptide. So even though they were able to get the couple of eliminations there, I don't think they advanced their position all too much. Higgs and Clicks, they get the legendary drop this time out of Wonky Land. Better chance at those rare chests, more gold. And already at their POI, they almost get maxed mats at that mini game. They have the Wonky Wheel, so they have everything they need in terms of finding success. And early on, obviously, it is only the first zone. It seems like it is moving on over the western side of the map.
Last time we saw them pull a zone like this, though, Jacob, they did win the game, right? If it came this way. Clicks and Higgs calling on some connects here to try to make something big happen at this point.
Cold and rapid. If you got that feeling of deja vu at all, I can agree. They're not changing up their strategy. They don't even go underneath Dark Dominion unless they have to. Cold just kind of builds up towards the top. Not only does he have to aim with those shotguns, he's going to be the primary source of finding their surge. Rapid, the big brain, the IGL of this team so far has been rotating them very well in the good portion of the games, but the last two, I think those are going to be the ones that hurt the most. 10 place, 4 eliminations, 17 place with 1 eliminations, kind of giving up that top spot on the leaderboard.
Agers and Rituals on the other side here. Bit of a quiet rotate for them right now, but they're close to this Dark Dominion, so I am curious what the strategy here is in the coming moments. They've almost continued to position themselves around some of that competition up on the standings. Acorn and Bolts on the other side. Bolts is very situated right now.
Yeah, I think he looks down towards Wonky Land, but you can kind of see that big base over towards the Ferris wheel. It's fully blocked off for that direction, so no easy peeks from there. Has to look elsewhere. Over towards Latte Landing, though, where Power and Penta make themselves known. At the Reek and Cooper drop spot. Back on over towards that launch pad, typically where the primary source of rotation goes through. Cooper down below, tries to go for a cheeky shot on the Power, but he regrets that one momentarily. Pressure continues to fly his way, but Reek was able to find an opening onto Power, gets the shield gone just like that. But they're just taking so much damage from the Storm itself. Yeah, they have to get in the same box, heal up with those splashes, because they were one shot away from going down.
One Elam separates them from the top 13 lane spot right now. They cannot afford to fall here. Reek and Cooper do enough to push this team off, but at what cost? You saw them, again, healing a bunch, so we can't even tell if they're actually out positive after this exchange right here.
Oh, well, they don't want to get the elimination go for free. They get the good damage onto Power, they Shockwave, they Fizz, they close the distance, and now they get the knock. Instead of cleaning up instantly, they know they're going to take damage from the Storm. Let the Siphon do its thing. Reek's going to go on the chase. Sees Penta trying to run away, and he's just trying to follow suit. Only thing is, he only has one Shockwave left, so yep, he's going to have to use the Fizz to really make that Shockwave worth it. Getting up on top of that mountain. That's going to give him a huge bird's eye view to try to figure out where Penta actually ran to. Spots the builds in the distance, safe landing into the water. But he is so far away from Cooper now, that gives Penta a 1v1 if he could just figure out it actually is a 1v1.
There's no way. He's off. He's already going right back to the bodies, thinking that they came together. But Cooper's here waiting to catch him. More good damage here. Now, this is starting to track what seems to be other duos here in the area that are just kind of sticking to their usual rotates right now. So you have to be careful, but there it is. Finally, they clean things up here at the Latte Landing. It'd be a great two-piece elimination for them, giving them that little bit of cushion that they were looking for here. They're not quite safe again inside the top 13 just yet, but they are there now after the 8 points they earned there. Meanwhile, Visual and Braids, what is this? This is a completely different strat.
Even got me shaking my head, scratching it, trying to wonder what went wrong. Typically, we see a team like this spread out on these mountain ranges that you see there in the minimap, and that's how they get a lot of their surge. This time around, maybe trying to wait for somebody to lurk in late, find something. Hopefully, they make a mistake. Timing, if it doesn't work out, though, might put them behind the rest of the curve as QK and Khan find themselves elimination over here towards Painted Palms. Instead of going on a wild goose chase, though, they're going to let that solo player run away. Maybe they could turn back and get the elimination later. We know we're going to go for a reboot eventually. But for QK and Khan, man, this is going to be a good start to the game. Get that damage early. And once you got that Storm Surge damage early, it kind of opens up flexibility to be able to focus on the rotation instead of just getting damage.
Yeah, talk about those eliminations, too. I'm going to be keeping close eyes on Visuals and Breeds, too, because like you said, that is such a massive risk for them to take here, waiting inside the base, hoping to ambush someone. And then you look at the map. Look at how much distance there is between other players. It, again, from here looking at it, might not pay off. We'll just have to see. Peterbot Boya, though, back to the same trusty strategy, keeping this huge surge tower. This just seems to work out a lot better for them, and then pushing teams that they tend to weaken on the way. There's an Adrian, one of the few down here at the Dark Dominion. So we saw them rotate past this. They didn't go around to actually contest Cold Eruption, of course. And shots coming in from Peterbot's duo up top.
Yeah, they spotted that one out quick. Saw the surge base, saw the window open. Unlike some of the other surge bases where there is no top on their base, you can kind of, you know, crouch, uncrouch, peek over, not really give yourself away. But Peterbot built it in a way to where it's impossible to get shockwaved on for free. So usually we always talk about Peterbot and Boyo hunting teams down. I'm getting in the back of my head. Maybe they're prepared if worse comes to worse. That happens to them. They are the team to beat after 8 games so far. I should say 9 games. We're here in game 10. Let's see if that lead goes away. Muzz and Sphinx over towards Humble Hills. Zone moving on over towards Squibbly Shores. We talked about last time Clicks and Higgs had a zone move over in this favor. I think everybody here on this side of the map has just been gifted a little bit of opportunity, which includes Muzz and Sphinx, who's currently positioned 8th on the leaderboard.
Done really good today, too. 2nd place in that first game, 12th and then a 10th, right? So a lot of in-game appearances so far for Muzz and Sphinx. Bucky and Zen. On pace right now. Great opportunity here to find some casualties from that Prom. Zone's going to be coming in shortly, so got to make quick work of this team here and get going themselves.
You know, watching this sometimes, you just got to have a lot of patience because there's a lot of moments to where you typically would think, I got to rotate to zone. I don't want to take the damage. I want to beat other teams there. But sometimes it's just more beneficial, especially if you have the white HP heals, to go ahead and just fight for your time. Let the Storm do its thing. Force other players at their hands, depending on what situation they're in. Especially if you have a little bit more control of your games. Curve and Veno, a different approach already. You know, in the last couple games, we see them very, very early on try to be the team on the high ground and really condition the rest of the lobby. This time around, just like we saw Visuals and Braids, taking a whole different approach. Slowing things down and just minimizing the risk of them actually getting eliminated.
They do already have 2 eliminations, too, so they're feeling pretty good about their overall damage, but as we start talking about the way the zone played out, it's going to be Clicks and Higgs who have this monstrous base.
Hey, what's up,
set
welcome to stream.
At the wonky land, as the zone has favored them for quite some time here. And this
Curb and Vino in first place,
well, so
up by 2 from Peterbot Boyo.
Take on the road with them.
Clicks Higgs in 10th. Dang, Clicks and Higgs really dropped.
Zone is
They need a
going
good
towards the
game here.
south. They have their wonky wheel. They have their combination of both the
They need
Fizz
a
and the
win here.
Shockwave. really dodge a lot of the early portions of that zone, kind of move out of render distance, make it easier for them to move in. And you see the zone is kind of pulling off the shores of Squibbly over into more of the mainland. And this is where you do have a few different mountain ranges that will be in play. So rotations being quick, that is of the essence here. And that's where you see now for all those other players that have waited until this zone to try to move their way in. You're seeing Cold and Rapid, they're pulling that edge of the zone. Instead of going straight in, they know this side of the map is more than likely uninhabited by a lot of the players, so they're just going ahead, taking a slow approach yet again. They don't seem to be in a worry, and they don't seem to be desperate to make any big plays.
Yep, and they got little bushes to play with as well here. So with the zone coming back their way, look at that. They have a nice little ambush set up there. All the teams rotating in. Peterbot still finds himself safe in the positioning here. So long as they found their damage, they'll be just fine. Agers and Ritual haven't really moved either since rotating their last position here. They're only 83 above, so this is a much more precarious situation to be in.
Yeah, it might look good. It might look good now with the damage being above the threshold, but you know as well as I do, the way that some of these games have been going, you'll be above in one zone and then instantly fall below in the next. So we need to get down to a certain minimum of players for each and every one of these zones as the game does progress until it eventually does turn off down to 40 players overall. So they're really playing tiptoeing with that line when it comes to Surge. Cold and Rapid, similar situation, only 143 above, and it's not easy for them to rotate from point A to point B. About 30 damage is going to get taken off of that Surge.
One thing to note, though, they were max material coming out of that storm there, so they are in a prime position here. Don't let that material count fool you. They are getting late into the end game here. A little bit of storm pull luck here, and you'll be in a great spot to be in. Overall, though, Peterbot and Boyo, the same can be said for them. They have this high ground base. They've had the zone this entire time. They're finding a tremendous amount of damage from this advantageous spot, and now they get to shockwave out and play into the Dark Dominion. So this is actually Cold and Rapid's drop spot. And again, normally when you get the drop, obviously, we've seen those teams turn these opportunities, if you will, into huge wins, if not better. But again, that is to be determined, as now we're starting to approach that end game. Veno and Curve, no pressure so far. They've just been sitting on the vending machine trying to see if anyone was willing to come this way. Clearly, some people got a little too close to the fire and got burnt here. It's Magma and G Monster. This is another Veno and Curve elimination onto the same team. They just can't catch a break.
Yeah, and I know the game's still going on, but with those eliminations there, they take first place in the tournament. Placement points haven't set in. It's going to continue to jumble, but it goes to show how close the leaderboard actually is through and through. Am I watching a replay? Am I watching another clip? Peterbot and Boyo are just finding opportunity after opportunity, and it's on to Veer. That is going to be a heartbreak right there if Threats cannot clutch out some good points in this game. He is only 4 points away from that bubble.
Yeah, they were doing so well after finding those two elims, and now lose your teammate kind of here is going to be that much more tougher. Well, you have to make at least 20 or 30 points. As we were jumping away, I think I saw Veno find another elimination there too, so the rotates are clearly working well. Yep, here it is. We get to jump in with that. They're at 5 elims now, Jacob. Things are just starting to get really pieced together for them. Take a look here. They find the lobby focus onto Jack. They get the elim credit. It just can't work any better for them now. So all that matters here for them is just going to be key positioning, playing for the end game. No one's in that base up top either. Somewhat of a vacant Storm Surge base from before. The zone has bounced back. Acorn and Bolts are still in this game as well right now. Barely holding on though, as they found themselves only 20 above. I see Clicks and Higgs there in the distance too. Meanwhile, Peterbot continuing to find eliminations.
Yeah, to start the game, Veno and Curves, 2 off-spawn elims, put him in first. Peterbot gets an elim, they take first back. Veno and Curve get a couple more elims that pushes them in first, and now they take it right back. We're literally ping-ponging as this game goes on between first and second place, but you still got Cold, Rapid, Agers, and Ritual. Acorn and Bolts all still in the mix, and you can't forget about Clicks and Higgs. All it takes is one moment to catch fire in these next 3 games to really kind of shut everything up. They do have that gold Chaos. They got the purple AR. They got Slap Pizza. They got Fizz. They got Shockwave. They got all the resources necessary to have a good game here. But the zone might play a huge role depending on where it goes. I see it moving towards the south. We're going back in and through Dark Dominion. So even though we got those buildings we need to worry about, it's not as drastic as a North Pole and all those mountain ranges.
Jacob, I also saw Visual and Bree still alive as well. So it seems like their risky play did pay off there. In the bottom right there, still fully healthy. Clix and Higgs opting to go for high ground here. Once again, this time, as early as the 8th zone, while teams are playing pretty close to second height. So this is extremely risky. Hobby and Aminish still in the game as well. But Clix with the big Elim onset enough there. He doesn't get too risky either, right? He allows the loot to fall there. Comes to back up his teammate Higgs here up top. It's Bucky and Zen who are trying to fight for it, though.
Yeah, and this is another reason why I think it's just a little bit too early sometimes in the game.
Pollo's down.
Not only because of material, but it's because of everybody sending it up above. You said it yourself, Pollo down. There's a lot of pressure here on the Peterbot to maintain their position on the leaderboard. Quickly peeks up, steals some of that loot away. Curve and Venno are on the other side, literally first in place, staring at each other through the wall. And I think Peterbot knows that danger's around the corner, tries to go up. Shockwave above, makes the play onto Zen. Nobody does that as a solo, and he's even backing down Bucky. They have the confidence to go up. The challenge Clix at Higgs, but now it's falling short with Peterbot storming him down.
Just doesn't get better, you know. He's just sticking to the game plan. He's like, you know what? We want to come into these games and play for high ground. It's what's going to open up positioning for me. I'm just going to go ahead and do that. But Clix and Higgs, of course, have the same strategy too. Peterbot tries to bail off, of course, but it's not going to be enough. Clix has just got his number this time.
This is an opening. Curve and Venno needed. Volts is by himself down below. Acorn is gone as well. Another top team sent back to the lobby. Not only Curve and Venno's chance to increase that lead for first place, even with Cold and Rapid still alive, but for Clix and Higgs to play catch up here. They have the high ground. A lot of the teams are already out of their path, but another one sends it towards the north. Another team is trying to battle up above for the high ground. Meanwhile, Cold and Rapid has let all the dust settle. You guys can have it up above. We'll smoothly walk through that finish line.
Don't forget, Hobby and Aminish were in 6th place coming into this. They have a chance to fight for first as well, and they're trying to just show us that they have life in them as they go up, but Clix and Higgs is willing to battle it back on over into their head. They're really just wrestling for high ground right now, and it's cost them so much material. Clix and Higgs have almost given away the win condition at this point if they can't catch this refresh.
Yeah, you see Curve and Venno just waiting in the shadows
so smart.
For a moment just like this. Everything up above is expended, but they're actually looking down below. Look at the material count, the lack of resources. They might have what they need to take the high ground, so Clix and Higgs have to give it up. Hobby in a minute. You said it yourself. From top 6 to start this game, this is their chance to increase their positioning, but Venno's backs up against the wall. 6 builds, tries to find his way to the front side of zone while using the bare minimum. Curve ends up in a scuffle against Clix. No builds left. He's gonna have to reposition, and now Clix is by himself. 2 HP. A quick peek from Venno. He returns back to the scene of the crime to take down his former teammate.
Unfortunately, he did lose Curve in the process. He finds Prom here as a solo, but no, Nut comes to back him up, and then he has to back off here completely. Look at this. Venno didn't even get to pick up any mats either. So now he's down to 4 builds. But hey, look, inside the top 10 now, still earning points, but you have Cold and Rapid making up for time lost. But Venno's still going. Down goes Taki too. And now he's at 9 eliminations here, Jacob.
This is a legacy at its finest. Venno is really trying to put on, not only for himself, not only for Curve, but the entire EU region, saying, hey, look, it could be that easy. Cold and Rapid, though, still a big pain in their side, but Rapid goes down. Muzz and Sphinx drop down from above. This is literally chaos at its finest.
This is crazy. The points here being added up. Meanwhile, Venno is just soaking up placement points because the lobby's doing the hard work for him. And he goes into monstrous shot onto Ritual. Oh my gosh. Venno just continues to do it time and time again. And don't count him out just yet. That's another huge shot. The Fullberry miss drops too. Can he get some time to pop it? There it is. Tries to break out through the top. Look at the game sense, the awareness to break out of the dangerous layer. Venno is firing on all cylinders right now, and he is still going.
I can't believe what we're witnessing. Venno is taking over in this endgame, but he has to be careful. The only solo left. He's gonna come for a finish on the other side. A huge shot's gonna
he still doing it? How is he managing to earn these points? He's trying to get it back in blood. He might actually get this elimination here too. Zipta falls down, Void's all weak, and he gave us the performance we were looking for there, Jacob. Gosh.
Oh my gosh, Monster, I needed a moment to breathe there. My heart is pounding. I'm not even playing in this game, but Benno came to NA. He is taking over. He picks up Curve, and this team is a bulldozer in these NA lobbies. They're single-handedly taking down top team after top team by themselves, but Zypta, Void, they deserve all the praise in the world, Zeke.
I am at a loss for words. Obviously we want to talk about Benno, but we need to highlight Zypta and Void. Oh my gosh, the chaos that was that game. And literally Benno is just mowing down players left and right. And at the very end, it is a 2v1. Zypta, Void, they take advantage of that, right? They say, hey, look, if it's just you, even gods can bleed sometimes. We'll walk away with the victory royale, 219 points. These guys are looking to secure themselves a spot going to the summit with only 2 games left to go. This puts them in a really good spot, Kelly.
Yeah, I mean, considering how crazy the low ground was, to have a full duo in that moment, being able to take on Benno, I mean, 6 eliminations, definitely going to help them up the leaderboard. But my goodness, that looked like that could have been a 1v2 in Benno's favor. But again, shout outs to that duo for getting the 10th VR of our
Whew, that one was close. What a nail biter for the duo. Yeah, they were kind of just hanging out, right? We saw how many solos there were in that lobby, and amongst all of the chaos, amongst Benno just mowing down all the lobby, that duo there at the end, they just get to kind of look up and like, wait, where'd everybody else go, right? We only got one player to take out for the win. All of a sudden, they go ahead, they clutch it up, they take the win as well. So it'll be interesting to see how that win right there shakes up the leaderboard.
Oh man, well, we're gonna go to a break. When we return, we are absolutely taking a look at Curve and Benno. That solo clutch was incredible. We'll see you guys in just a few minutes. Don't you go anywhere.
I got hit with that one off. I'm popping a med bit. Wait, short. Got 6 builds? No, max up. Wait, if you have med, wait. 100! 100! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
And I don't know how to feel about it.
You're not used to losing. Getting beaten?
Not like this. These players are just so locked in.
Could it be the milk?
It's okay.
Stay there.
Fortnite fan, we're just gonna get right into it. Benno and Carve, what the heck? Benno comes out game number 10 with one of the greatest solo clutches we have ever seen. Guys, look at this leaderboard. Peterbot and Pollo just got a VR last game, right? We thought, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Peterbot, Pollo, they're taking over. It's crazy. In a single game, Benno solo clutches here for a second place with 11 eliminations. Kelly Link, we are at 68 eliminations on the day.
I mean, and that is a solo clutch off of Curve and Benno having 8 eliminations before Curve went down. So it wasn't like it was just Benno in that game. But regardless, even with 8 eliminations, having Curve go down, Benno was not done yet. He is never done, Vivid. And to see him play that, for a second, I thought this was game 11, Peterbot solo once again, because we've seen that in North America. But Benno wants to show that this is not just the NA show. EU is here to represent. And look at these eliminations, Vivid.
Insane. I mean, it's like he can't miss right now. If this guy has a shotgun out and there is somebody anywhere near him on his screen able to go ahead and hit, he's hitting the shot every single time. And how chaotic some of these end games are. I mean, he is just switching layers when he needs to. He's using overdrive grenades to fly up, and even mid-air, opponents are moving, he's still hitting the shots. And everybody that was watching this must have believed that it was possible for him to win this 1v2, right? Like this, it looked like he was unstoppable. Everybody's like heart froze for a second watching that right there. And I gotta tell you, the rest of the lobby right now is in absolute trouble. We kind of saw it after game number 7. We were like, wow, whoa, these guys look absolutely different. Take a look at the individual eliminations over the course of the 10 games that we've witnessed for grand finals today. Benno is leading the pack with 37. What is possibly a little bit even more impressive is that his duo is right behind him with 31. This isn't like a solo show. I mean, obviously, yeah, the solo clutches came out, but they are both just performing on an incredible level right now, Kelly.
I for sure thought that production was wrong, that this was incorrect, and that they misplaced Curve's name. That is insane. These numbers represent everything, and I feel like I'm gonna have to add a 4th star to this airplane real soon, because this is what I want out of North American Central. And you know what? Maybe NA Central was getting a little bland, and you just gotta add a little bit of spice from EU, and that's what makes everything just taste so much better.
Whew. I am just shocked by what we just witnessed. We have 2 games left to go. Let's bring up those standings again. Wow. As we look at these standings as well, I mean, guys, even look from 1st to 5th, right? Only 75 points separating Curve and Benno from Javi and Aminish. I mean, I am just in awe. Again, this is why we call out, right? A single game of Fortnite can change everything, man. You just string together eliminations the way Benno just did, even in 2nd place. You don't even need the Victory Royale. You can find yourself climbing the standings. Oh my gosh. Agers in Ritual as well. Look at this. Jumping up 2 whole placements right now, Kelly. Off of a 6th place with 7 elims. Now, Kelly, right now, more than ever, these eliminations are so critical. There's so many points locked behind these eliminations. That's what these players need to be targeting.
I mean, Agers and Ritual, like you said, they got 8th place with, they got 6th place with 7 eliminations. Cold and Rapid that game only went down in 8th. They only got 3 eliminations. And that is why Agers and Ritual are jumping up. Literally, you could be doing really well, making it to the end game, grabbing eliminations. But if you are not just pushing yourselves above just a little bit more than everyone else, that is literally going to be the difference of tens of thousands of dollars and being able to say that you are the best in North America Central.
As I've been wrapped up in the entertainment that we have been presented with this absolute domination, I blinked and I was like, wait a minute. We've played 10 games. There's only 2 games left. We are approaching that point now where it is possible that some of these other teams that are in the top 5 could potentially be thinking about, okay, listen, they're playing way too good right now. How do we stop them? I know we kind of talk about this a lot. We saw it on EU earlier, the attempt to potentially stop them early on. Does somebody have what it takes to land on Curve and Veno to stop what seems to be unstoppable?
Whoa, Vivid! He's speaking something into existence. Kelly, we saw this over in EU and it went a certain way. Do you think it's happening? Do you think it's happening in game 11?
No.
Probably not, but we can hope.
2 games left to go here before we say goodbye. I cannot believe what has transpired so far. With 2 games left to go, all of these dudes are thinking the same exact thing. How do we either get in the top 13 or fight for that number 1 spot? Casters, it is time. Game 11 is ready. Take it away.
Monster, I don't know if Curve and Veno will be contested off drop, but I don't think it's going to be a smart play, because something you notice first off is when they were the best team in some of these lobbies, it usually starts in the early game. On day 1, it was the mid and end game where they lacked a little bit of preparation, but now that that's solved, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't think anyone wants to get Sky and scrolled here in game number 11. So let's see if things are getting hyped now.
2 games left, Monster. 2 exciting chances for anybody to rise up the leaderboards. And before this moment, we had a very, very close tournament, 6 points difference. But after Curve and Veno is just phenomenal solo play, they have almost a 50-point gap.
See, but that's the thing, you know, when you listen to Veno speak, he was actually saying Curve was due for the pop-off. Curve is going to have his moment. Little did we know, the wolf was in sheep's clothing. He has been playing so crazy. It's looking like young Veno, the Veno that we knew to be one of the most dangerous fighters when he was up and coming. We're just seeing him just outperform like crazy right now. And you love to see it too, because it's well deserved. And the competition overall is extremely close. But okay, Jacob, let's get to some of this action here. Paper and Resi are still fighting for a qualification spot for themselves. That was a great 2-piece elimination.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate. That side of the map isn't necessarily my favorite. Whether you're contested, uncontested, or simply just win the fight doesn't make it any easier at all. Blake and Preston still on this side of the map. Going against the Tick and Mafia on the south side of the Frigid Fortress. Good damage onto Preston, though, giving a huge advantage on over to the other side. But Mafia has a huge chunk of HP missing as well. And this is where the lurks are starting to come in. But the longer you lurk, the longer you fight, those third parties will become a huge factor. Empen and Jack already making their way on over.
Yeah, Empen and Jack have been all over these fights here. They've had success. They've had some failures. So has Mafia. Looking Blake's perspective. Just kind of leaving this one out, trying to see. Misses the most important shot, though. Any little touch there, he could have sneezed on the Tick, and it would have been a big up. And Preston didn't even see him run past him either, so they just seem to be a little out of it here for game number 11. Empen and Jack not too content with the extra shots they're hitting inside of there. I think they learned a lesson last time, so they're off to disengage now.
Still got Scare and Osid at the actual Frigid Fortress just towards the north. They were the ones that, essentially the last ones standing after everything had settled, but just literally one room away. Preston and Blake, I have to imagine they know each other are here. Even the Tick as a solo, they only saw one elimination in the feed. It's about where is he at, and every single person in this scenario, Monster, is one shot away from going down or getting eliminated, and that's why you see the careful approach. But maybe Preston hears something on the other side of that wall. He's trying to tiptoe, take his time. There's a full window open, a clear shot. They double attack from both sides. That was actually a smart way to approach that from Preston and Blake.
I'm thinking Preston was looking through the cracks in the brick like, yep, I see an angle, bro. He's in here. Let's go for it. And it ends up working out. Squibbly on lock, of course, by Peter Bottom Pollo. Let's see if they end up doing a big surge base or rotating out early. Try to get a fight for some surge. Maybe even some points, of course. All in all, though, Oh, they're going back to that strat where they just push Chris and Drew here, who are kind of based down right now.
Yeah, and honestly, unless you think something unordinary is going to happen with Veno going down early and a lack of eliminations, one of the big ways to come back, especially for a team like Peterbot and Pollo, is through eliminations here. You talked about it yourself. They've fought this one before against Chris and Drew. They got in eliminations, but they've also went down or down to low HP, making the surge not necessarily worth it. There goes another example. They're 100 damage gone just like that. Pollo having to slow things down, trying to heal up, but Peterbot's relentless pressure gets the double edits towards the top, forcing Drew to fall down yet another layer. But we've seen this happen a few times throughout the weekend. Eventually, Peterbot and Pollo do disengage, but I'm not sure that's going to necessarily be the case. They trade shots again. Another 100 damage landing onto Pete.
Yeah, one thing Chris and Drew have done is play defense very, very well, right? Like, every time we've watched the spike go down, they actually haven't fully eliminated this team. They have managed to defend themselves more than well enough, and Peterbot and Pollo say, you know what? You got it, bruh. Once again, and they just give it to them because they know, too, that going back and forth is not worth it. They wait until they're ahead, and they say, all right, we're going to take the surge positive and dip out.
Sometimes you got to take the little victories, and hopefully they accumulate into a massive victory at the end of the game. So jump on board Threats and Beer. To start the day off, they were inside of that top 13. They slowly fizzled out, but as it stands now, 14th place, 264 points. 13th place is only 6 points away. So if they were able to clean up those eliminations, they would move inside of the bubble as the game does progress. On one side of the map, you can kind of see what is on the line for some of these players, and they're really just trying to put it all out there, and they leave no regrets left on the table. Carillion seems to be by himself. Not sure where Jargo's at. Possibly eliminated by UK, but they break into the same box. UK almost goes down, but he's able to not only survive, but get the elimination onto Carillion and basically tell him what he really feels.
Yeah, I was trying to find Carillion on the standings. Definitely is one of those teams on that bubble area. They haven't had enough time to really focus in on their performances, but either way, getting eliminated now in game number 11 is going to be a massive setback for any team here now. Jumping back with this right here, Peterbot. Boy, I don't think we've seen them actually fight Skittles' team at all. So Skittles somewhat caught out of position here and into the drop. Okay, this is exactly where Peterbot wants you. They know they're not going to have teams here, not this early. And just like that, Skittles rotates out of one problem and into another one.
Ah, that's just unfortunate. Literally, Peterbot and Pollo went from fighting Chris and Drew. I don't know why they disengaged, but Chris and Drew went one way, Peterbot went the other, and basically attacked two different players on one team, sent them right back to the lobby. Another heartbreak moment here in game 11, basically leaving it all to the 12th and final game for some of these teams that have been eliminated early on. And as you can see, 74 players up, Monster. This one looking to move at a little bit of an accelerated fashion than some of the other games we've seen so far.
Okay, I did find Carillion and Jargo on the standings. They're actually in 13th, holding the line with 270 points there, Jacob. Now, the jump above them is Rhea and Cooper, who have a 30-point cushion, it seems like, for 12th. But it is super close from basically that line up and down.
Really watching all the teams below you, probably even some of the teams above, just hoping they go down early, kind of ease the pain. But you can see the big difference here from Rapid and Cold and some of the other teams. Rapid literally buying out the mending machine, and then they kind of bring all the heals up towards Cold so he can kind of watch them, kind of leaving scraps essentially for anybody else that tries to rotate through and grab that mending machine. Just jump on board Void. Looks like he's getting chased down by a Beeb. Nowhere near his teammate just yet, but he's trying to use those shockwaves to close the distance.
Just look at Zipna's points too. Overall today, having quite the performance here. Obviously, after that last Victory Royale, in a 5th place before that, they have just propelled themselves right into a potential land qualification spot. Now, they still have a little bit of a ways to go, but if they can continue to play well, they will be up towards the top here in the next 2 rounds. Visuals and Braids slipping down the totem pole. They were holding that 3rd strong for so long. These last few rounds have just been a bit tough for them.
Yeah, they have a bit of a cushion, almost 100-point cushion going into these last 2 games, but almost leaves you scratching your head. They vastly changed up their strategy from day 1 going into day 2, where they would typically set up here for a long time, just getting little tags that adds up to a good amount of surge. By the time they rotated towards those moving zones, it made it a little more free to do what they want. more and more teams rotating over, even to close the day out yesterday, lurking on him, getting those eliminations, forcing in the back of Visuals and Braid's minds different things to go out, but they're going to go ahead and get that drop early on, just at the edge of zone. And this could be a blessing here with the zone moving towards the north. They're already set up on one of these mountains, and every team south of that line has to rotate either through Visuals and Braids or to the left or the right.
And this is definitely the better spot to be in. And, you know, this is arguably the best spot to have a monster surge base, but they seem to have gone to keeping more of a low profile. They're trying to mix things up. And if I had to guess, teams just change their rotation strategy, right, coming into day 2. Maybe that's why Vision Breed is having a bit of a harder time, whereas yesterday, while everyone was caught off guard, strat worked a little better. But for Peter Botafoyo, they're fighting for points here. It's the Squiggly Shores, obviously their domain. Doing a good job so far, too.
And Peter Bot just using a couple of resources that are around. Taking that spicy fish, getting a little bit of a movement boost that can help him try to break into some of these boxes as they pressure out Muzz from 2 different angles. One shot can connect from Poyo. Peterbot still holding it down, bleeding some of those Thunderburst shots through, getting him down to just HP. And with the zone here, yeah, it might only be a 1 tick, but it's going to increase the worry for Must. Liquid tries to go up and make a play onto Peterbot, but he gets cut short as well. He has no choice but to try and disengage. He basically gave up any hope of him and his duo either taking down Peterbot or surviving, so he moves towards the north, saying, hey, if you're going to eliminate him, I probably already have the goal. Let's just start working on plan B.
Yeah, look at that. And little did they know that he actually fully dipped on his teammates. So he could have stuck around and finished it, but not worth the risk. Really showing you, too, that, like, Peterbot and Poyer are really trying to play for an end game right now. They know that, hey, the points will come. We just got to keep winning.
Muzz and Sphinx, you know, Muzz, at least, you know, in the last major 3 in trios qualifying in the last game of the day to make it to globals. A much better position, 7th place, 430 points on the leaderboard. Just needs to be able to close it out strong in the last 2 games. Listen and Aloe in the mix as well, just trying to float above one of these teams. They're going to be in 23rd place, 214 points. I want to say roughly like 56 points away from getting inside of that bubble. That's definitely going to help him tenfold. Raven does go down. Aloe already trying to shockwave over. CDZ realizing the shockwaves are coming in. He's going to try to disengage himself. Can't be the hero in a situation that started so fast.
Unfortunate turn of events here for CDZ and Raven. They find themselves at the bottom of the standings here, but hey, all of this is experience gathered and effort learned. Saw Aegis there find G-Monster in the feed. So Aegis continuing to do what he needs to earn himself some points to continue to fight his way back into first. It's neck and neck up at the top. No teams can make a mistake now. If you're Acorn and Bolts, you're going to need to have those big game wins as well. Otherwise, the dream is out.
Yeah, which is surprising to start this day. We're talking about the phenomenal play from Bold, solo impact, him and Acorn's ability to remain consistent in each and every one of these games. It's just something went wrong today. You know, compared to yesterday, they had a 32nd place and 19th. They did make up for it in a moment with a 3rd place with 5 eliminations, but now they're 98 points away from first place. 2 games left. Almost have a little bit of control over their destiny. They really got to hope for Curve, Veno, Aegis, Ritual, Cold, and Rapid. A whole slew of players to have a much worse performance than they've had so far, even on average. As Aegis and Ritual rotating back on over towards Sandy Strip. Another team, uncontested drop. They really have conditioned a good portion of this lobby to stay away from this mending machine.
You know, and I'm just thinking, Javi and Diminish actually jumped up a placement point last game as well. Their average placement so far in the tournament is 8.6. The best of all the teams right now inside of the top 5. That is a pretty impressive stat, just kind of taking a surface glance at it right now. Everyone else, though, clearly, though, has way more elims. That's why they have the higher points overall. But still, Javi and Diminish playing exceptional right now. It's a great time to just start checking in with them. What's going well with them? Why can they keep making it work here? It seems like the Frigid Fortress is treating them very well.
Yeah, and honestly, an unlikely duo coming into this one. You know, at one point, it was Reet and Javi, and Minish with a whole nother player, and Reet goes ahead and says, hey, Cooper, you want a duo? We're not playing as well as we would hope. So he goes a separate way. Javi and Aminish, they form just in time to have a phenomenal performance in play-ins. They followed up with a good performance in heats, and already continuing that trend here with a top 5 position on the leaderboard, 75 points away, what could be both of those players' first FNCS championship. But again, when you look at the leaderboard on the right, it's just so close, not only for the actual first place on the leaderboard, but the top 13 overall, where you see 13 and 14th place have already been eliminated out of this lobby. And honestly, you don't want to look back at this moment, Monster, saying, hey, I had the chance and I wasted it.
Yeah, most definitely. And I'm actually looking at the standings just for like Javi and Aminish's, you know, placement performances. They actually have 2 second places in there, and last game obviously pulled that 3rd. So they have come close to a win multiple times now. We will be keeping an eye on them. But with Cold and Rapid here from the Dark Dominion now to this new draw spot so far, it seems to be playing off relatively well. They have 400 damage above, plenty of material, and they actually pull zone. Okay, this is really good for Cold and Rapid right here. They actually needed a little bit of luck, and it seems like it's playing off.
Yeah, I'm thinking in my head, the only thing they're missing is a little bit of high ground, but it's Cold and Rapid. When do they ever play on the high ground? Exactly, they get what they want. Just like Peterbot and Boyo, relentless pressure throughout the entirety of this game. They're almost 1,000 above the threshold, but you wouldn't think that to be true. They only have 1 elimination so far, so they are going for it. They're going for these high elim games. It's just they're not finding any success on the actual eliminations up until then, where they take down both Jack and N-Pen before they got to rotate to the next zone. So that's going to replenish a lot of their builds. They can pick and choose what resource they want to take with them before they finally make their way on out.
This is crazy because they're really playing to their strengths right now. Goes the Flowberry miss, so they're just going to be shock waving their way all the way into the zone. Shoot, they might even end up on some high ground here shortly. They have the mats to play for it, but Peterbot gets caught in a spider's trap right there. Gotta be careful. On the other side, as we were watching that though, we missed what was happening over here. Flex, buddy, you're looking the wrong way. Veno knocks him upside the head, and then they get the follow-up in the finish.
Distance, 8 corner bolts, quickly rotating in towards the zone. And they're using that as a quick second here to look back, seeing anybody that still has the journey to make, like Dolzir and Ishu outside of the zone. They're just pressuring, trying to make it harder for them to not only make it in, but even if they do, they're not going to make it in healthy. Another elimination towards the side. Slepsy and Wage was able to pick up 1. Maybe push Paper and Rezi back as Curve, looking like he's trying to approach in that direction. You see Veno peeking through the cone, gathering vital information for their team. And you can see Veno and Curve are the only team who haven't been hit by any surge so far in each and every one of these games. It's just going to show that early game presence by Curve and Veno is paying off tenfold.
They've just been the most aggressive. They've, again, been clearly the most successful in the early game. This game's a little bit slower for them in the early game, but their mid game is just taking off right now. They are in another prime situation to play for high ground here in the end game, and we know what they do well. They play it late. They let people get their first, you know, little taste of height, and then they come in and put their influence to the test. Rapid and Cold, though, much different strategy for them. We've seen them play low ground, time in, time out, front side, dead side, you name it. They'll be there. Comes to rotates though. This is still a difficult terrain to play with, right? They have to go up and over this mountain, which you have Peterbot and Boyo now completely positioned up, and then you have Clicks and Higgs already basing on the opposite side.
So many times we've seen teams take it early. Clicks and Higgs were able to hold it early on in day number 1, but since then, honestly, it's been changing hands for each and every one of these zones here in the end game as they position themselves above. Peterbot and Boyo have the luxury to stagger themselves back. Look down, rain fire from above. Not necessarily getting eliminations here, but they are just hurting every single player they connect shots with as they rotate on over. Curve and Veno positioned down below. Hop gonna minish towards the side. Clicks and Higgs.
All right.
We've seen in previous games them try to go ahead and claim high ground. Up until now, they pull zone in their favor, and they immediately build up saying, hey, if you want high ground, come take it from us.
That's crazy. And that's so different than anything else we've seen from Clicks and Higgs. They've been building single straight standing towers, but now Higgs is putting up this huge flex right now with a monstrous base. Veno and Curve here have no issues fighting their way to the new zone, though. That was almost a fresh elim. Oh, actually, it is an elim as things catch up there. Veno finds another one. He was already in the lead, Jacob, with the most amount of elims, and he's continued to do so. But look at this, not looking good. Boyo's down. Peterbot comes through to clutch up. He finds one. Can he get the follow-up here? He's doing so much damage, but he can't quite get the finish, but it's okay. He's bought Boyo enough time to get saved here.
Yeah, and they have the splashes. They're gonna have to instantly start to use those along with the pizza, but the zone is moving in. 10 ticks of damage, instantly popping the big pot. Really trusting Peterbot to get those splashes out in time.
Big Sig's on height. That's nice tag. Clicks with the kill on Majors. He's coming down for Slupsy. Gets off the floor. Kill Slupsy. Higgs dropping some of his heals. Curve is gonna. Kingling down. Left the solo clutch. Peterbot and Boyo still looking mighty healthy. 4 kills amongst the two of them. Zone height. Higgs on the other side after 2 getter and shot by Clicks and Higgs with 4 kills in total. Look at that, Cooper gets some tags below. Higgs with a nice tag on the ground. Runs the early heal up. Diminished goes down. Your bot left is a solo. Clicks takes down Dragon. Rapid takes down Retalkie, takes down Cooper. Braid takes down Drew. Visuals gets the push on the field. Chris down top. Vino takes out Peterbot. Poppy dies for Storm. Vito with a nice shot on the Venom. Oh, gee. Wait, Higgs goes down. Clicks with the res onto Higgs. In FNCS Grand Finals, he gets the heal off. Takes an easy He's getting ready, and he's shocking. 30 on the curve, and they're back on height. He gets a big tag on himself. Probably from Storm. Healing up, trying to get the max HP. Curve goes down, just Vino unless it's solo. Sync gets finished. Ooh. Gets beamed on height. Takes shotgun back in circle. You got a nice quick kill. 5 bullets. Those out of what he has. Sphinx goes down to bolts, or rapid kill Sphinx. Rapid goes down to braids. Ladies and gentlemen, could we see a Clicks win here? Could we see a Clicks and Higgs win here? Look at the tag on the visuals. Braids and bolts. Higgs 1 HP. 0 build. Higgs goes down. Clicks goes down. 2v2. Acorn takes down visuals. Braids just behind. And Bolt and Acorn steal away the win. Wow. Was that game 12? I think that was game 12. Nope, that was game 11. As they're about to head into their last match. Clicks and Higgs caught back up. Still have 9th place. Peterbot still in 4th. Curve, Veno 1st place with 659 points. Almost 100 points ahead of the 2nd place team. Just look over at Curve and Veno. Just look at them. Even though they haven't won every single game, they've been super consistent with their eliminations. 10 kills, 11 kills, 8 kills, 9 kills, 9 kills, 8 kills, 8 kills, 0 kills, 3, 7, 5. So yeah, they only had one match where they didn't get any kills as opposed to other people. Switch back over to the Fortnite official broadcast.
Go. We're gonna go to a break, okay? I need a moment to breathe. Okay, I need a moment to breathe. When we come back, we start setting up because this is a close run, okay? Go find some popcorn, find a drink, use the bathroom. We'll be right back, okay? We'll be right back. We'll be right back.
All right, guys. Fortnite is going on to a break really quickly, so I'm just gonna move here. Actually, why not? Let's make that look. Wow. Curve Veno in 1st place. They're a really great team. Honestly. Glad to see them doing good. Curve and Veno more than 200 points ahead of Higgs.
the most important moments in the FNCS. We have one game left to go. You know, hey, crazy stuff happened in that last game. Acorn and Bolt got themselves a victory out of that last game. That's crazy, right? Yeah. Why don't we go and take a look at the standings, because it gets crazier. Because right now, Curve and Venno are in first place with 659 points.
They have 78 eliminations, more than double that of Acorn and Bolts. Venno and Curve have shown today what they do best. Those early eliminations, going into mid-game, making sure that they don't have to worry about Storm Surge, and then controlling the mid-ground, either chopping people from above or eliminating people down below. They do it time and time again. And you know what? Maybe day one wasn't their day, but it's better late than never. Venno showing everyone why he is not just moving states like we see a lot of players do in North America. No, he's moving countries to claim this as his own. Manifesting destiny is all about America's history, and he's showing why Britain did it first over here.
Please put an absolute huge exclamation point on the fact that these guys were in 10th place coming into the day. We have played 5 games, and they now have an 85-point lead over second place. I don't know what kind of crazy stat or how this is going to look on paper, but this has to be one of the most incredible day 2 performances, day 2 comebacks, whatever you want to call it, that we have ever seen. I mean, look at 78. How in the heck? What's even going on? These guys, every single time we watch the game, it's just a highlight reel for them.
Dude, you know, we were talking about it during the break there, and it's like at a certain point, this is going to become mathematically impossible, right? Like at a certain point, we've tuned into them at like the early stages of the game, and they have 4 or 5 or, you know, even 3 elims, right? They just have to do what they've been doing all day long, and they will walk away as the winners. Now, we only have a minute and a half. I really quickly just want to flip on over the top 13, right? Yes, we are absolutely playing for a first place and an Axe of Champions, right? But we also can't forget top 13 are right now playing for their spot at the summit. 298. Do not forget that number going into this game. 298 is the current cutoff. Seek and Taki are holding that. But guys, we have one game left to go. Let's even just look at Scare and Osid, right? We saw Scare and Osid pop off earlier on, like not even just a few weeks ago. They could try and play for that spot. Look at Jargu as well, right? Even Zypho, we saw them get a Victory Royale. I mean, Kelly, there's so many players. This goes down to 20, Kelly. Yeah. It's possible.
It's literally like 42 points that separate 13th from 20th place, and I'm guessing it's even closer down below. So we could probably get to page 3, see teams in our 30th place spot. And if they have that pop-off game, and we know that there is a possibility of some teams just kind of sliding by, making it into the top 5 and just grabbing a handful of eliminations, that right there is 90 points and could be the difference maker of going to Dusseldorf or not. Vivid, this is what NAC is all about. We have so many big names in the top. All the teams that we have been talking about are finally showing up right now, and this is the final game.
It's crazy. I mean, there's so much stuff going on that leaderboard, so much we could break down, but there's only one way to find out who's going to walk away, not only champions, who's going to get second, who's going to get third, who's going to qualify to the LAN event, and that's just to play the games.
Vivid, the last game of the day right now. Fortnite fam, lock in every single thing that these players do. Whether they get an elim or get eliminated, this is it. The last game to make the impossible possible. For the last time today, MDF, Jacob PR, take it away.
Honestly, Monster, I've never seen so many storylines go down the leaderboard so far. Curve could win his first FNCS champion. Venno could win 2 titles on the hardest regions with EU and NA and add his 4th overall. Acorn could win another major one. Bolt could be a West and Central champion. Cold back on top. Rapid wins his first. I could keep going all day, but it just goes to show the stories are endless today.
This is what makes NA one of the best regions to watch. It's what is really the pinnacle of what Fortnite's all about. And we, of course, have the privilege of calling all the action here. You've been watching it go down. Let's see if luck is on their side.
coming into a game 12 of honestly the most recent FNCS is almost a year now. People always have that same conversation. Who will land on first place? And right now, it looks like we have an interesting situation breaking down. Peterbot and Poyo look to contest Curve and Venno, but Curve and Venno already seen that one coming. They leave, they go to Squibbly Shores, and they get another early game elimination. Zeke said it, Monster. Eventually, this will become mathematically impossible for anybody outside of Curve and Venno to win.
I called it. I already knew this was going to happen. I knew that Venno was someone that Peterbot and Pollo like respect at such a competitive level. They would be willing to contest them. They would be willing to try to throw their tournament off. But Venno is one of the smartest players we've ever had, and he will see it from a mile away. So even now, them just mixing up, it's just a safety strat. It's to say, hey, who wants to battle us? Come bring it. We're not afraid to mix it up. And we're not afraid to stay dynamic here in the last game.
Looks like Peterbot and Poyo going into this game, though. With that elimination, of course, with Venno and Curve, they are 98 points away from an FNCS champion, and that's only playing catch up to Curve and Venno. They still got so many big names in their path that they're looking to take it. They probably noticed that Curve and Venno weren't at the Battlewood. They immediately turn around. They got a hint of what's going on. Maybe they think this is them, but it's Raven and CDZ, a whole nother team. This gives a huge moment here for Curve and Venno to look on over, possibly engage, possibly disengage. The choice is definitely theirs, especially since it's taken a little bit longer than we'd hoped. Peterbot lands a shot, but Poyo goes down. Raven is escaping back inside of the building. That puts Peterbot in a 1v2.
Oh no, and the finish comes through as well. And that is not the way you want this to start going down right here. If you're Peterbot or Pollo, you need so many more points. You cannot afford to be get set this far behind. Peterbot, though, in a world of trouble here. Plenty of enemy builds. He's gonna have to back off. Shot through the wall as well. This is, of course, Raven and CDZ's one chance to go in and pounce on him. But Peterbot's back in the mix here, fully healthy. Misses an important shot here, and things are looking pretty south now for him.
Yeah, the biggest thing here was Peterbot was able to get the materials from Poyo, but Raven lands another monster shot, getting the shield gone out from Peterbot. He has the minis still there, but he's running out of build. CDZ and Raven really don't have no materials down below, so they can't not fight upwards, so he has to drop down low. Peterbot again trying to take the fight to them as CDZ gets dropped to this. Less than 50 HP, but a third party's coming in, Monster. A third party from the east, from Dark Dominion, looks to interrupt this play.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's you-know-who, but give it a second here. Raven CD's even a little too passive now. They had an opportunity to finish up this Elim. They back off instead. Rapid and Cold show up, and they are cleaning up house faster than ever. They find two quick Elims, even shooting the down body just to show and flex that they're here as well. And look at this. They are hunting for poor Peterbot, who's now hiding inside of the factory. Just unprecedented type of end game right now. You never see this level of clash go down here. Definitely not for the likes of Peterbot. He's normally the one hunting. Now he's being hunted.
Yeah, they probably saw in the feed that Poyo did go down, so they immediately left their drop spot to beeline it on over. This is a team that's on their tail. Cold is in third place. You see it there. Peterbot and Poyo in fourth place. It really was asking the question, is anybody going to be brave enough? With the point gap so close, you would really risk your spot on the leaderboard if you were looking to go on the chase. But Venno, Curve, they not only left their drop spot at Battlewood, they left their second drop spot at Squizzly, and they're already going on the hunt for these Elims. They don't want to win after Game 12, Monster. They want to win during this game so they can take a much-needed victory lap.
Well, this is crazy. You know, if you just allow them to continue to get Elims like this, which they have done extremely successfully, way more successfully than any other team here on the weekend, they will be too far ahead. We would be asking so much of Cold and Rapid. We're talking upwards of 10, 15 Elims and a Victory Royale. Give this a second now. So from one team wipe onto another now, Dozier and Escher trying to fight the fired up Venno and Curve here. Meanwhile, Curve has been live this entire time, by the way. Do not sleep on him. This is, again, nothing like we've ever seen before.
Yeah, especially for Mom and Pop Curve. Imagine him. Oh, he is eliminated by Cold and Rapid. Peterbot goes down. in 4th place, tied with Agers and Ritual. Could only get worse from there, but Benno takes a big shot, but he is not backing down. Ishu gets eliminated. The Siphon comes in. Much needed builds get replenished by Benno. Curve not slowing down, trying to alleviate the pressure. Lands a huge shot onto Zosier, and the elimination one as well. 5 elims, Monster. 5 eliminations here. This is domination at its finest in Major 1 on NA Central.
Looking so good for them right now. Rapid and Cold right now on the hunt too, just trying to figure out what is going on here. They're already at 3 elims as well. So Rapid and Cold are playing so aggressive too. You gotta give them credit right here. We know what the task at hand is. We know what needs to be done. And it really does feel like the impossible. It's asking them to pop off right now and go into the upper double-digit elimination territory and potentially win the game. Because for them, it's about the championship victory. Jumping over to Carillion and Jargo though, playing a little bit of the storm fight right here, keeping us busy right now.
Essentially, 2 sides of the coin. We're watching the battle for first. Oh, Venno's down. Venno is down, but Curve saves the day. What are we witnessing? This is a montage performance. I don't want to call it too soon, Monster, but this is beginning to look like a victory lap for Curve and Venno.
The writing's on the wall. You just have to read it, brother. All right? It's whenever you're ready, just let us know. They're at 6 eliminations now. Acorn and Bolts. A little cheeky here though, trying to see if anyone's willing to kind of sneak on by to find a couple elims right now. And let's just paint the bigger picture. Obviously, Kurt and Venno off to the races right now. A 100-point gap separating them from the rest of the competition. And then you have so many other teams trying to fight for a land spot to the global summit. It's right around the corner. Who is going to be in Germany? Only the top 13 will make it.
And as it stands right now, in order for Cold and Rapid to win the tournament, and this is as it stands right now, they need Curve and Venno to go down outside of top 25 with not a single elimination more. And then they need to win the game with 10 or so eliminations in the double digits. So it's going to show how much of a runaway this is turning into. And that's where you see a lot of lurks going down, because it's not only the battle for first. If you look at Tyler and Chance here, 391 points on the overall leaderboard. They're in 10th place. If they go down early, they can kiss their summit spot goodbye.
Definitely be really close for them. They'll be holding on to a thin margin. Taki and Seek on the other side. Same can be said for these teams here. 208 points earned on the tournament day. So you are seeing moments of greatness here coming out. Some of our competitors here on the 2-day format.
It's not gonna make a quick, clean glide here. They're just trying to dodge all the noise down below, having to worry about Surge, having to worry about others rotating in your path. Be a good plan for Seek and Taki here. 13th place. They just need to hold on to their current spot on that leaderboard. Clicks and Eggs, though, a moment ago, did see them in the feed. They picked up at least 1 more elimination here. They, too, have a little bit more of a cushion than some of the other counterparts. 430 points in 9th place. They just need to make sure to finish strong. It's more of a confidence thing than anything else, I feel like, at this point.
Yeah, gotta find their groove, but again, you've made it this far. They had such exceptional moments of greatness, but in the end, everything has to come together. And then how do you account for having the curves, the colds, those types of performances that we've seen? It's tough to ask. All things have to come together. Cooper and Rito, they're still fighting for their qualification seat. They're not fully safe just yet. Not at least how I feel. Let's take a look at the standings here. This is going to put them at 12th place there, Jacob. So close.
Yeah, I would say they have a 22-point gap from 13th, which is actually the line. And then about a 44 or so point gap between them and falling outside of the bubble, which means anything could be possible. If they go down, let's just say 15th place, and anybody else kind of is able to secure a top 8 or better, they can certainly overtake them on the leaderboard. But definitely so many different possibilities here as the tournament continues on. Threats in Beer, a team that started inside of the bubble on the day, shortly fell out of it and is trying to work their way back. Aviv and King, another similarity here, 17th place coming into this game, which means those eliminations, 8 more points is definitely going to boost them up the leaderboard just a little bit. I think that almost puts them on the line outside of that bubble around 14th place with those elims.
Yeah, Vivan King, the last 2 games have played really well, actually making it to endgame, and this time they actually have 4 total elims, so just a monstrous performance so far, definitely stepping up and doing what they need to when it matters most. Enough and Saul kind of see what's going on here. They end up backing off. You have Osid and Scare, another team that's very much in the conversation right now. Looking at how they've played, we have a 4th place as far as their best performance so far in last game, roughly 15th for them with a single elim. So not too bad, definitely earning some placement points. If they can keep that up, they might just be doing enough to jump up and in.
This is going to be an interesting lobby slash end game. Because if you look at like day 1, we were getting what, 4th zone surge, sometimes even earlier because how stacked the lobby is. To start the day, we were getting 5th zone, maybe 6th zone surge. There's only 60 players up. There's only 30 teams left in this lobby right now in the 4th zone. So it's rather thinned out, moving at a much more accelerated pace. So you have to be careful on some of these rotations. So instead of being able to rotate, stack with a bunch of other teams, hoping they choose them instead of you, now some of these rotations would be a little bit more bare with you and maybe 1 or 2 other teams being the only one rotating in that direction.
I mean, when you have Cold, Rapid, Acorn, Bolts, Curvin, Veno looking for elims, right? Trying to either push the gap, close the gap, like this is what happens. The lobby will tend to thin out, and then everyone else, of course, trying to fight for their qualification spot. Look at this though, Veno Curve inside the storm right now. They surely know they've done enough, right? So now it's just time to chill out, hang out, enjoy the storm for a little bit. Here on the beach, have no reason to really put themselves in any danger here.
None at all, especially with the zone moving on over towards the south. They know they can essentially ride the shoreline, whether they try to make a little shortcut in, go on top of the mountains, they can go all the way towards the south. They do got 1 zone, though, that they really have to worry about. So going from zone 4 to zone 5, it moves from a 1 tick of damage into 2. From zone 5 to zone 6, it'll move from a 2 tick damage into a 5. So even though they do have a lot of time on their side, they don't want to use all their resources just getting into zones. Since you can kind of see on the map there on your left side that so many other teams are also outside of the zone and inside of their path that could certainly cut them off.
Yeah, definitely. They're moving really quickly. Wagers and Sleepsy, though. Look at this. A little bit of a high ground position right here. Still, though, no surge warnings in sight. This game is moving so fast right now as the lobby's starting to thin out. And this is a pretty congested north side of the Battlewood Boulevard, so kind of a new site for us, if you will. Looking at the names that are in play here. Jack, N-Pen, Acorn, Bolts. On the other side, Osid and Scare. Scare, though, gets fully finished right here. One of our bubble teams is out to the hands of Sikentaki. This is super important. Actually, it was Wagers from up top. It wasn't Sikentaki, but they're right next to that collateral damage.
Almost all the same, though. Sikentaki, that 13th place, Scare and Osid, or I should say, just one Osid by himself. Is going to be in 14th place. He has a bit of a gap to overcome. Anything is possible. 29 teams still up, so 4 more go down. You'll start to get those placement points, and they'll cascade in with each and every team that does go down. Contrapt's going to fall, and already 1 less team to worry about here. 55 players left in this game, so there's only 1 solo running around, and that's going to be Osid.
Gotta do what he gotta do, though. It's really close, yet so far now. It's all going to come down to, can you earn your way towards the positioning placement points there? Still see Reet and Cooper up in the distance. Agers and Ritual here sitting pretty. Got the box open, eyes on Acorn and Bolts. Little did they know. Oh, look at this zone, though. It pulls north. Okay, so this is going to be working against the likes of Curve and Venom, who obviously were wrapping far around the outskirts.
Just trying to get not necessarily damage for Surge as it does turn on. 14 players do need to go down, but you can see where they stand. 400 above the damage threshold. Since they're right next to the zone monster, they don't have to do much movement at all. Just kind of focus on getting that damage while not receiving much. Acorn and Bolts Try to land some shots onto NPen and Jack in the distance. Inadvertently kind of alleviating some of the pressure. NPen and Jack could have looked to get aggressive. Acorn and Bolts 132 above the damage threshold. They sit in 3rd place on the leaderboard, a mere 6 points out of 2nd. Huge chunk of money differential. Now let's talk about Bolts. If somehow, some way, a miracle can happen, Acorn and Bolts keeps the Major 1 magic alive. Bolts will become another player on that short list of 2 region champions. I know Veno is certainly in line to becoming another player on that list in 2 of the hardest regions in Fortnite, in NA Central and EU.
Yeah, definitely looking to make history here and now. Reed and Cooper sitting pretty strong right now, guys. 340 damage above, safe in the zone, plenty to work with right now. That's the type of position you want to see Reed and Cooper in if they're going to land. Seek and Taki on the other side, same can be said for them. Still have a couple shockwaves to work with. Not too many to make it towards endgame, but hey, enough to at least stay in the race here for quite some time. It's all going to come down to a refresh for Seek and Taki, though. See if they can time the rotate. Looking at who's positioned up, though. Clicks and Higgs trying to end this one with the splash. Already you can see them poison up for that high ground here, Jacob.
Yeah, just still, no matter what's been going good or bad in some of these games, they're just continuously one of the teams that, you know, if they make it this far into the game, they're going to contest for that high ground. King and Aviv just outside of that bubble sees 2 teams with a little bit of a scuffle going on. They try to land some shots before they go ahead and make their way on over. They're just trying to pressure them so that way they don't make any peeks, makes the rotation that much safer. That was Reed and Cooper in that distance. They're 193 above the damage threshold. Inside of that qualification ring, they just need to be able to hold on here, especially more so now with Javi and Aminish looking to walk them down.
Really close now to earning some positioning points here as well. 28 teams still standing. Curve finds Kingeling there in the feed. Veno super hit up off the rotate here. That brings them up to 7 eliminations. And Curve finding his moment, finding his footing now. These last couple games, I mean, it's been the Veno show, but Curve has stepped up when it mattered most. Even in this game, clutching Elim after Elim, and now finding the follow-up and the refresh that they need to succeed here. Clicks and Higgs, though, just want to do what they can do best.
Uh-oh. Not the best spot to be in for a team in 2nd place, below the damage threshold. Boats persistence there is able to lead some shots through underneath that cover, get them above the damage threshold. A mere 5, but at least it's something. They're not taking active surge for 25 damage every 7 seconds. Blake and Preston trying to put down some pressure, but only for a short moment. Bolts is going to be able to hold off. To get through the comb, though, getting this information is going to be vital, but Muzz gets the down onto Clicks. I see it in the feed. Sphinx even gets the cleanup here. High ground changing hands, but it's not Muzz and Sphinx. Right now, it looks like Aviv. It looks like Curve and Veno are all fighting for it.
Yeah, if you look at it, Curve, Veno come in out of nowhere, just trying to time that high ground, and up they go. Meanwhile, Threats and Beer still fighting to stay in the tournament life as well. Higgs on the left side clutches up a nice little Elim for himself. That's going to drop G-Monster and send him back to the lobby. He might not have enough to make it to land. Meanwhile, high ground is solidified by Muzz and Sphinx, but Higgs gets swiped out this sky, hanging up for a little too long. Acorn and Bolts fighting for 2nd at this point. If you can't take down Curve and Veno now, it'll just be too late.
Yeah, literally, this is the moment right here. As soon as they get into the top 15, I almost think it's a wrap, mathematically impossible. Threats drops down low outside of the bubble. I'm not sure he secured enough points before finally going down there. Muzz and Sphinx up above. Reed and Cooper sacrificing the HP, staying outside of the zones. That way they can fizz, they can shockwave, and hopefully get to the front side. But they're just taking so much damage. They don't have the heals to get up to full HP and shield anymore.
Muzz and Sphinx still putting pressure from up top. Cooper, Reed trying to stay alive. Seek and Taki fighting their way towards a qualification, and teams are dropping faster than you can even realize. We're already up into the top 17 now. Curve and Veno are not stopping, though. Another team falls to their hands. It's Aminish and Javi. A top 5 performance was valiant for them on the standings coming into this. But it's Curve and Veno who are fighting for the championship win now. And look at this, Jacob. I mean, they are breaking away with a huge lead.
Yep, and even when it looks like it's bleak, Benno gets dropped down to a sliver of HP. They're surviving. Bolt's trying to do the same thing. 5 HP, loses Acorn though, so we need another big solo clutch performance. Almost runs into Curve and Benno all along the way, but he's able to slip past them as Curve and Benno find another elimination before Benno finally goes down. Curve is out of builds here, trying to use the shock to splash to keep himself as full of HP as possible. Even finding a Fizz to utilize here on the side. Curve, I think, has done enough inside of the top 10. He finds another elimination onto Cooper. Curve might have gone down, but they are your FNCS Major 1 champions.
They've done it. They've done enough to be up at the top, to sit on the throne now. Venno is the conqueror of 2 regions here in Curve. His first time ever gets to taste that victory here. But for now, Muzz and Sphinx are trying to find their victory lap. This is all a battle for money. This is all battles for seats at the LAN event where the story will continue.
Jargu needs this. Jargu needs this game here. They were 15th place to start it all, and now he's the only solo left in this game. The 2 teams that are left alive, Monster, both of them already have their spot secured, so this is everything for Jargu by himself. Tries the shockwave in. He gets tagged up left and right, down in 3rd place. Did he do enough to qualify for Dusseldorf?
Well, it's going to be really close for now, though. The action's on. Muzz here, who finds elimination. Ritual gets tagged up big time. Sphinx looking for his moment, and he does it in the end. And that's going to be a nice, wonderful way to end the FNCS there.
That was more than just a wonderful way. Curve and Venno's complete and utter domination of a region. Congratulations for Curve, his first FNCS champion. We always remember our first, and Venno, probably the most important FNCS title, dominating a whole nother region. Muzz and Sphinx win that game, but Zeke, Kelly, and Vivid, we have a new champion.
Let's go, Muzz! Let's go, Muzz! That's right, baby! Let's go! Sorry, I had to get that out of the way. Sorry. Anyway, first off, really quickly, MDF, Jacob, thank you guys so much for the cast. Fantastic day. As they called out, it is true. Venno and Curve are your champions in NAC. A 4th title for Venno and a 1st for Curve. I mean, Kelly, Vivid, you know, we call Vivid called this out right last game. They came in today 10th place. And I think for most people, you probably look at the standings at that point, you're like, okay, yeah, like maybe they're probably not gonna get a 4th. They might could end like top 5 or something. But Kelly, Venno turned it on, and there was just game after game where he's solo clutching, getting, you know, at one point a 2nd place with 11 elims, a 2nd place with like 7 elims. He's just firing on all cylinders and no one can stop him. No one. And on the back of this carry right now we're looking at Venno and Curve being FNCS champions.
I mean, you're saying no one can stop them, but we saw at the start of this game that a few players did try to stop the run of Curve and Venno. They tried, but they failed because Curve and Venno were prepared. They were aware. Because Venno, he's not just an incredible fragger. He's also incredibly smart and aware when it comes to Fortnite. When it comes to the mindset of other pro players, he has them downloaded. And so he knows what these players are going to do, and he knows exactly how to respond to it. Curve and Venno showing everyone that they deserve this spot. They deserve 1st place. And honestly, just watching them climb up the leaderboard, not necessarily through placements, Vivid, but to get elim after elim, to get so many. I honestly don't even know where they are at the end of the day. I'm excited to see our leaderboard.
Socials are going crazy.
It is
Talking about,
crazy,
oh my
chat.
gosh, Venno has entered his second.
Curve, Venno with the win. It's crazy. Alright, chat. I'm actually gonna go ahead and do an intro. Alright, so today, guys, I am going to just be playing some Zone Wars. I am actually live right now. I'm live on YouTube and TikTok, Shorts, and Big Video. And basically, I wanted to tell y'all that I have officially joined Team Void. Yes, Team Void, the professional team, where we have some of the big names like who's in FNCS Koreans as of me recording this. Yeah. We're glad to be in here. And make sure to cop their merch. I am gonna be a little bit delayed because, like I said before, I am streaming. What's up, chat? What's up? Shout out Henry. Shout out Big Godzilla. My teammates are autistic, one's scary. Just so y'all know, this is just regular public. Hopefully, since I did just join, so I still gotta add everybody, but hopefully I can do a video soon running some scrims or something with the team. But until then, you know, just gotta figure that stuff out. And yeah, I did change my name to Void Semenafin.